I am continuing in my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am continuing reading in a chronological order, according to event, not according to publication or volume. So I'm skipping around a bit as I move along. And we continue in Second Thessalonians again. This is written somewhat near the end of Paul's year-and-a-half stay in Corinth. He's in his second missionary journey among the Greeks now. And Thessaly is in the north. They came in through the north, Philippi, Thessalonica, then came south to Athens and now Corinth. And Paul, he wrote his first epistle near the time that he first came to Corinth to give them some words of encouragement and comfort. But a number of months later, some false ideas have been creeping in, and he is writing to correct a few things. Or him, Silas, and Timothy are all writing both of these epistles to strengthen, comfort, and correct some false doctrines. So in our last reading, we read about their commending the saints at Thessalonica for their faith, and speaking of how even though they're being persecuted now, in the end their persecutors will face the judgment of God, while they will receive the rest of God. And that's what we read last. In this video, we have a Joseph Smith translation. And what the Joseph Smith translation is, this is a translation or correction done by Joseph Smith to restore those passages that have been lost or corrupted over the years. So now we pick it up in chapter 2. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter, as from us, as that the day of Christ is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, shewing himself that he is God. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things? And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they shall believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. But we are bound to give thanks always to God for you, brethren, beloved of the Lord, because God hath from the beginning chosen you to salvation through sanctification of the Spirit and belief on the truth, whereunto he called you by our gospel to the obtaining of the glory of our Lord Jesus Christ. Therefore, brethren, stand fast and hold the traditions which ye have been taught, whether by word or our epistle. Now our Lord Jesus Christ himself, and God, even our Father, which hath loved us, and hath given us everlasting consolation and good hope through grace, comfort your hearts, and establish you in every good word and work. Some of those verses are kind of awkward to read, but this is where Paul is explaining the great apostasy. There must be a falling away. See, the saints in Thessalonica seem to have gotten the idea that Christ had already returned, or was going to return very soon, at least. But it seems there's some people were saying, and they were writing letters, whether it's an epistle, even if it's claims to be from us, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter, as from us. So don't use our words to get a false idea. And it really seems to be that they're referring back to 1 Thessalonians. Even in the footnotes it says 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, where it talks about the comfort that we have in the resurrection. And saying, look, don't confuse my words. Don't try and use my words to teach false doctrine. There's some things that have to happen first. And he talks about the son of perdition. So this isn't Satan, because Satan is perdition. He's never called the son of perdition. He is perdition. So the son of perdition, gives me the impression of the Antichrist, the great Antichrist of the last days, which is given more detail in the book of Revelation. that he will rise, and until he rises, we can't have the second coming. Until we have the wickedness and the evil, the mystery of iniquity, as it says in verse 7, the mystery of iniquity. This is the corruption of the truth and the driving of everybody into evil paths. And he talks about giving them a strong delusion. That's the darkness that comes over the people in the great apostasy when they are believe a lie. They are taught false doctrine, and all the people are believing it. So this really is a description of the time of the great apostasy, as well as some allusions to the great tribulations of the last days. And what Paul's doing here is correcting the Thessalonians, saying, you're doing good, keep up the good work, stay faithful, but don't think that it's going to happen now. It's not. We got a long ways to go before the second coming. You need to stay faithful in your life. Don't get idle. Don't think that we're already in the millennium. Don't get careless in your living. Stay faithful. That's what he's saying. Now, we do have some Joseph Smith translations here. So we have first in verse 2, it now reads, that ye be not soon shaken in mind or be troubled by letter, except ye receive it from us, neither by spirit or by word, as that the day of Christ is at hand. So as I said, in the King James, it seems that he is referencing back to 1 Thessalonians, but now this lets you know what's really happening here is that they received letters from other people telling them that Christ had already come, or giving this indication, this false doctrine. And he's saying, look, unless you hear it from us specifically, don't believe it. And when he says us, I don't think he means just him and Timothy and Silas. He's talking about the apostles. If you hear it from the apostles, then you can believe it. But until the apostles make the statement, whatever people tell you, whether it's by spirit or by word, or even if somebody sends you in a written letter, doesn't matter. Don't believe it. Now, in verse 3, we actually remove a lot of words here. So now it just reads, let no man deceive you by any means, for there shall come a falling away first. Much more simple. Takes out 6 words and replaces them with the word shall. Very interesting. Now, let us read 7, 8, and 9 all together in the Joseph Smith translation. It now states, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work, and he it is who now worketh, and Christ suffereth him to work, until the time is fulfilled that he shall be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked one be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Yea, the Lord, even Jesus, whose coming is not until after there cometh a falling away by the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. So there's going to be a falling away that is caused by Satan working. He will be doing lying, all power with signs and lying wonders. And he is allowed to work for the purposes of God. But in the end, when the time is right, he will be done away, and then we will have the second coming. Remember, there's a lot of Christians and a lot of other religions will talk about signs and wonders, miracles that they've seen, visions. Remember, Satan can give visions. Satan can work wonders. I'm going to leave that there, and we will finish out 2 Thessalonians next in chapter 3. So I will see you there.